Hello there, class. So in this lecture, we're going to go over Recycling 101. Because I don't know where any of your levels of understanding or thinking are on the recycling industry, I'm not here to insult your intelligence, but want to make sure that everyone has a clear understanding of the recycling overview and the industry as a whole. Now, the first thing that everyone should really understand is that recycling is a globalized market, and there are so many different factors and things that will affect not only the recycling industry, but pricing and materials and technology and transportation. And all of these things on an economic scale really affect recycling all the way down on a local scale. And I think that's very important for people to keep in mind so that they have a better understanding of how this industry works and how they can leverage that knowledge of the industry to their advantage in their own specific situation when setting up a corporate recycling program. So what we'll go over first is the material overview. Now, it sounds pretty simple at first: cardboard, paper, plastic, metal, glass. And then you have things that are alternatives like pallets or electronics, textiles, all types of materials like that. And while it sounds really simple, I can assure you that it is not simple when you are looking at these things on a globalized scale. One of the main reasons that they are not as simple as cardboard, paper, plastic, metal, glass is because within those materials you have subcategory upon subcategory upon subcategory. So, for example, I'll use the plastic industry as one, where, there are 7 main types of plastic that are labeled at the bottom of each type of plastic that you find in your house. But there are over 11,000 types of different plastic that are made. Now, all of these different materials of plastics have different types of meanings and have different values associated with each. And all of these different factors are going to affect the pricing that you get. So just to quickly go through some examples with these plastics, and I'll go more in depth later on in the course on plastics, but for example, each one of those numbers, 1 through 7, under the different types of plastics, represents a different type of material. So number 1 is PET, or polyethylene, and that is typically found in water bottles and is a clear material, although it can also be found as strapping or even in clothing and doesn't always have to be clear. Number 2 is HDPE, or high-density polyethylene, and that is typically your laundry detergent bottles, and as you know, those come in a number of different colors, shapes, and sizes. So why is this so important that you understand this? It all goes back to your top 3 goals that we discussed earlier in the course, which is, are you trying to maximize profitability from the materials? Are you trying to save the company money by just reducing waste cost? Or are you really trying to purely do this for the environmental benefit of the planet and for the future generations? Either way, having a great understanding of this is going to really help you achieve your goals when setting up a corporate recycling program. So assuming that your goal is to maximize the profitability of these materials, I'd like you to have a better understanding of why knowing all these details of these products is so important for you to maximize that profitability. And at the end of the day, all of these different materials, no matter what shape, size, color, these are all commodities. And these commodity markets for these materials works very similarly to other commodity markets. One of the best analogies I can think of, and the way I like to explain it, is it works very similarly to the stock market. The prices of cardboard and paper and plastic, etc., rises and falls on a daily and monthly basis, and these factors are controlled by worldwide economic factors. So that's why we're going to discuss a little bit more about the commodity market side of these materials. And understanding the commodity markets, you can predict to a certain extent the fluctuation and the value by following some other worldwide economic factors. This is going to really help you maximize the profitability of these materials by understanding how the commodity market for the recycling industry works. Knowing that it's going to fluctuate is going to also help you be able to prepare for any fluctuations in the market. The price of cardboard could be at $100 a ton, and by the time you listen to this, it could be $50 a ton, or it could be $200 a ton, or it could be $20 a ton. Now, obviously, those are extremes, and it doesn't typically fluctuate that drastically, but it's not completely unheard of. So what I can do is help guide you to be able to look in the right places so that you can sell your material for the highest value possible and understand the markets from a timeline perspective so that you do not get ripped off and sell your materials for a much less value than it's worth during that month. So one major factor on an economic scale that you can follow is the price of oil. The price of oil a lot of times can be associated with the prices of commodities. For example, one of the main ingredients in plastics is oil. So if the price of oil drops, that means that the price of plastic is going to drop, which is good if you're manufacturing plastic, but not good if you're selling plastic. So all of these commodity prices are controlled and assigned values by a governing board known as the OBM, or the Official Board Markets. Other terminologies include the Yellow Sheet. This recently merged with the PPI Pulp and Paper Week, which is a service by pulp and paper industry professionals, and they have been doing this for more than 30 years to report the most accurate news and prices in North America's paper, packaging, recovered paper markets. This is how people are able to accurately assess the general pricing of these materials every month. And while many local factors will affect the ultimate price, this is one of the most accurate ways so that you're able to tell if you're getting ripped off or if you're getting a fair market value. Now, this is a subscription base, and it does cost quite a bit of money. So depending on the amount of volumes that you generate, that will affect whether you want to subscribe to this. But if you do, you'll get market news, you'll get different reviews of recovered paper markets and other materials, and then access to accurate pricing. I should note that I am not associated with this in any way, shape, or form, and does not affect me in any way whether you subscribe to this or not. But this is how I get my information and how the majority of people in the recycling industry get their information. So this is more on a macroeconomic scale, but what's going to be important to you is understanding it on a microeconomic scale. So the way that you can tell if you're getting good pricing or not is if you know what the OBM pricing of the month is, and we'll just keep the numbers simple here, and we'll say that the OBM said that cardboard this month is $100 a ton. The way that you can find out if you're getting a good price is by calling some local recyclers and asking them what they're paying for cardboard by the ton. So some good questions that you can ask this local recycler, and the things that he's thinking of that are going to affect that ultimate cost is the transportation. Who's going to provide the transportation? Do I have to sign a contract with you to start working with you? What is the maximum contamination level that is allowable? Do I need to have a minimum quantity of materials to give you every month? Where are these materials going to be weighed at? Who's going to provide containers? So on and so forth. Because the price that the local recycler, can sell those materials is going to be based on all those things. And what the OBM will do is tell you that the price for cardboard in California is going to be different than the price for cardboard in New York. So again, having a good knowledge base of this is really going to help you not control the pricing, but control your ability to maximize the pricing and the value that you're personally going to get from these materials. What I will do is include some different links to different types of associations and other material-specific industry news. If you'd like, feel free to go check them out. And again, I should note, I'm not associated with any of these people, and I get nothing whether you work with them or don't work with them.